Joosh It Up, when color, design, and unique style come together.
Hi, this is a collaboration between two Gemini interior designers who love color and creating unique design styles to enhance their clients' interiors. My name is Cynthia Ayurinde, and my company is called Unique Design Styles. And I have over 20 years of design experience in both residential and commercial design. When I work with my clients, I found that a lot of clients wanted to revamp their rooms, and sometimes they didn't want a full remodel. So I actually discovered the term "zhuzh it up" from a makeup artist that would say that they were gonna put some highlights and some things on your face and just zhuzh it up, and I was like, I like that, so I'll use that. And then when I actually was talking to Lyn, we met through a women's group and found out that she loved the term as well. So zhuzh it up is about taking what you have, putting it together in a way to just make it uniquely you. So I focus kind of on the unique style, and she focuses on color. So I'd like to introduce my beautiful counterpart, Lyn.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Okay, my name is Lyn Templey, and I am a passionate color expert. My company is Colore, because Italy is my favorite country. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll touch on that with our lovely guest. However, yes, so zhuzhing it up. When I was in the fashion industry in London for many years internationally, I would be looking at my clients, and I needed to pull it together. So I came up, I thought I was originated with this word zhuzh it, just to pull that look together, just to give it that sort of final wow appeal for the camera or whatever. And then translated that into my company, my interior design company, where I did quite a lot of staging. And at the end of the staging, my clients would say, oh my gosh, I didn't know my home could look so beautiful. And I thought, my goodness, why don't I make their home beautiful whilst they're living in it? Because we can't be objective. So what I do now is, and this is where Cynthia and I are joining force together, is when the client moves into their new home, rather than charging them thousands and thousands of dollars for mainstream interior design, we just zhuzh it up. Take what they've got, make more of it, add some color, some beautiful accessories for a fraction of the price. And so they're happy. So they get to live in a home they love, and they don't have to wait till they sell it. So I had a company when I left London called the Success Connection. So this is all moving towards the ultimate success connection with zhuzhing it up.
And we're here today with
yes.
our lovely guest, Penny Mancuso. And I met Penny several years ago through a women's group and was just very impressed with her myriad of talents and her fiery spirit. And she is as a goddess coach, she has personified the goddess every time I see her. And she uses that sense of style, and she proclaims herself as less Birkenstock, more Jimmy Choo. And she's truly a transformational coach. So Penny, thank you so much for being here. We welcome you, and we just want to get to know you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you. I sort of did that quote a little off the cuff, but it kind of works.
We like it. We like it. We're going to use that.
We really like it. It's you. It's that quirky but wonderful. Yeah, it's you. Love it. Love it.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, I adore your actual individual style. And how do you describe your actual unique design style as it pertains to fashion and your interiors?
Well, for me, I am definitely eclectic with a whole lot of diva. So I like things that are like luxurious, but I like also the elegance and of simple design. I like a lot of external stuff. So I like simplicity of design, but I like things that are more art objects or things that are more unique. So, to me, so that's where like the sort of elegant design part comes in. But then I'm also like kind of a diva, and I really like luxurious things, and I like color and texture. And so for my home, the way I've always decorated it is like diva on a dime, you know. So I've always really looked for really, really bold pieces that maybe were a little more expensive, and it's just like you were saying before, and then I just kind of mix and match with everything else. I really like in my home a sense of the vintage and the modern together. And then I like really curious, unusual pieces that are like what is that? Like that's a really cool chair, or so I like to pop in something that's uniquely my own. For artwork, like I collect music prints, and I'm a bit of a music buff, so I have a lot of artwork that is original prints of Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana and the Rolling Stones, but they're all black and white. So again, there's sort of an elegance, and they all kind of fit together. And so that's sort of a little bit modern, but then my ancestors, or my ex-husband's ancestors, were a very well-known family, so they had a lot of vintage pieces, little commodes, like even this computer is on like an old commode. And so I just kind of put it all together. And personally, in personal style, I am a huge fan of coats. I have so my coats, I don't even know anymore. I don't even
I'm in Southern California. I don't even need them, and I love coats.
you know, that's probably why I
do.
can't move, because I have an addiction to coats. And what would I do if I lived somewhere warm? My daughter lives in Miami. I'm like, what am I going to do with my coats? I have a coat and boot. I'm a coat and boot girl. So for me, you know, wearing a really simple black, you know, just a very body conscious dress with an outrageous coat is really the type of stuff that I like to do.
Amazing. And to sort of to continue on that theme with your fiery red hair and your passionate personality, you have a truly passionate personality, how does color evoke the goddess within you?
That is an amazing question, and thank you for asking that. So during this pandemic that we've all lived, you know, we were forced to go back to basics, which was a little challenging for someone like me. You know, to me, like my red hair, I mean, there's nothing sort of corporate about this. Like, this is a statement in itself. But for me, I kind of felt like Wonder Woman, and it was sort of like my superpower. Like Wonder Woman has the bracelets, well, I had my hair. So as the pandemic wore on, my hair was getting darker and darker and darker, because this is no color you're going to find in a drugstore. Yeah, you'll find this in a drugstore, right? So all of a sudden, I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to do my roots. And then I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, who are you? Like, who's this brunette? I don't even know who this is. So for me, you know, I think that my hair and the brightness and the audaciousness of it all became in itself a statement to my goddess self, in the sense that there was something completely unapologetic about it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that it was a true representation of my inner creativity and my inner fire and my personality. And so like so I have also some extensions, right? So my friend said to me, well, geez, your hair's so red. Like, what do you need extensions for? Don't you think it's too much? And I'm like, too much for who?
Too much.
Never.
Exactly.
Too much?
Never call me too much.
Same. What planet do you live on?
Exactly. So for me, I mean, I'm just referring to the hair right now, but it was a sort of a very powerful symbol for me, that when I sort of locked in on this color, it did kind of start to set my path in terms of the goddess methodology of really exploring the sacred feminine and really exploring also more color. I became deeply enamored in the sacred colors of the purples and the fuchsias and the greens and all the chakra colors. And all of a sudden, you know, before I used to be a little bit of a, you know, black and white and gray minimalist, but then all of a sudden, as the goddess started to emerge in me, so did the beautiful red robes and the high priestess scarves, and then it was full expression of all the color that is within us, but that most of the time sits a little dulled or sits a little in the dark.
That's true, very true. And it's interesting because there's a lot of people out there doing goddess coaching from kind of that metaphysical realm, and knowing you and your direction seems more abstract but grounded and practical. Can you explain how you approach the goddess, your coaching with your clients?
Sure. The thing is, and you're right about that. Like, there's a lot of people out there doing goddess coaching, or people who don't do goddess coaching are curious about it. And it's, now I live in Montreal, and here it's a little bit different, where something like these kind of metaphysical arts are probably a little bit more explored and more available if you're living in places like Arizona and Los Angeles, New York, but here in Montreal, it's a little like, what? So for me, the notion so I am a certified life coach. So I have my credentials from the International Coaching Federation, which puts a really solid basis on the work that I do. From there, I've also studied with Layla Martin, who is a coach in sexuality, sensuality, sex, love, and relationships. So that
I have to interrupt for 1 second. I absolutely love her. She is quintessentially wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a 2-year certification program to be a Vita coach, which is sex, love, and relationship coach. So I've been doing that as well. And then there's the whole spirituality concept. But for me, it all has to be grounded in something that the client can take away. The danger sometimes is getting too ephemeral with everything, and it gets all spiritual and it gets all out there. But then when the client leaves, I don't really know what's changed or what's transformed or how do I move forward. So for me, there's that coaching methodology has to be firmly rooted, and I'm an Italian, so it has to have roots, and it has to be on something solid. And the client, even when she's exploring her sacred feminine or exploring her sexuality or exploring her sensuality, I always want there to be something that's very, very grounded, and that is very, and also very elegant. And this is why I made that joke about from Birkenstocks to Jimmy Choo's, because just because you're in metaphysical realms, it doesn't mean you can't be high fashion.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be crystal and patchouli all the time.
It does not have to be crystal and patchouli, and it doesn't suit me anyway. Like I have a few little crystals, and I have a few things, and I have a beautiful Medusa ring, which I got as a gift from one of my goddesses. But I like things to also be like the metal. It has to be solid. There has to be really solid methodology underneath. So I think that's how I like to approach it. There needs to be solid tools and techniques, even if some of the work that we're doing is somehow a little bit more ephemeral or a little bit based in souls and spirituality and soul's purpose. You need to know the road.
Yes, that's it's endlessly fascinating. But do you envisage using color to enhance your clients' needs as you continue, in the role of the goddess coach?
I do actually. So prior to the pandemic, I was out coaching from home, and my living room lends itself to a beautiful goddess place to coach. Now I'll send over some pictures and you can see it, but I have this like beautiful purple aubergine couch, which I've been obsessed with forever. My whole house would be aubergine if I could. I'd have everything that color, and then I sort of put like this huge purple chandelier, so that I wanted the women, this is mostly women in this type of work that I do. I also do career coaching and other types of coaching, which are not, but let's say specifically for this, I wanted women when they come in here to feel a sort of a bit of a decadence, to feel that a divine decadence. And so I surrounded this place with, you know, beautiful candelabras and purple couches and purple chandeliers. And then there's, you know, massive prints of Anita Ekberg in La Dolce Vita, who is an ultimate goddess herself. The funny part about it is that I was kind of creating this without ever really, like, I came into coaching a little later in my career after being an executive. And when I was in transition, I didn't really know what to do. And this whole notion of goddess kind of came bubbling up. But when I looked around my house and when I looked around the objects that I had, subconsciously, I had been collecting goddesses my whole life. And when I looked at these two massive prints that were in my living room, and it's Anita Ekberg in the fountain in La Dolce Vita, I mean, can you get a more ultimate goddess than that? Wasn't this maybe what I was supposed to be doing all along? Because I've been subconsciously collecting it anyway. And subconsciously, I created this space, this beautiful goddess space, without ever knowing that that's what I was doing. So everything just kind of fit and it fell into place. So the use of those deep purples and the candlelight and black and white photography and gray you know, like neutral floor and beautiful bric-a-brac that's really unusual was kind of how I have staged my coaching.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it sounds like you were on that path, and it's so interesting because we do that. You know, like we're slowly drawn to it, and you know, when you take that step back and you look, and you're like, oh my gosh, like you said, I've been on this path my whole life, and I didn't even realize it.
I didn't even realize it. Exactly.
That's amazing. So it sounds like for yourself, you would paint the world, you know, aubergine and black and white, but like, how would you want to paint the world for everyone, for your clients? Like, if you had a magic wand, what would you do?
Well, I think one of the things about goddess coaching and about coaching in general is to move up the color hues. You know, like a lot of times also you can actually see it, like when a client comes in and a client is sort of stuck in their story and they're stuck in the sort of victimized part of their story when all these things are happening to them. And sometimes in the coaching methodologies, you know, as a client starts to get more aware and you ask more provocative questions and their sort of awareness starts to increase, you can actually see a change in color. You can see you can start seeing the beautiful reds and blues and yellows start to emerge, some would say it's the chakras. But I see that, you know, it's hard to explain from a literal perspective, but transformation is colorful. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think my desire for women is to unleash all the colors within us, because most of the time we're playing with a very limited palette. We play through the palette of our past, through the palette of our limitations, through the palette of our old stories that no longer serve us. And we basically run our whole lives using 6 colors. And through the coaching process and through the process of owning your divine feminine and your femininity, you are unlocking the multitude of colors that are around you.
Oh my gosh. Penny, you are, I mean, yes, just the idea of enabling people to see that there is so much more color in the world than people had any idea. Like, can we all be children and wear colorful clothes? Can we all see in color? And like countries like Africa, we're not even as children, they wear color as adults. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on today and sharing with us all your colorful, incredible wisdom. And when I met you at a retreat last summer, I think it was, I was so inspired by your vivacious Italian personality. And so I just know you're going to continue to, as we began to zhuzh it up. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you, Penny. I've only known you through the virtual world, so I can't wait to see that red fiery hair in person. We'll definitely have a girls' weekend retreat or something soon that we could do that.
Open the border.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm ready to go.
Or at least just let Cynthia in. We just have to
Please,
Just
me.
let somebody win. That's true. We just need to let you win.
yes, exactly.
Oh, well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. We'd like you to share with our viewers and listeners, do you have any upcoming projects that you're going to be working on that you would like to share with them?
Well, I'm going to be relaunching my parlor confessionals. So before the pandemic, I was doing them in the living room, which was actually really, really a beautiful experience. But now, obviously, like everything else, I have to move it online. So, with my GoddessME.ca website, and also you can DM me on Instagram, I am GoddessME. I will be giving new dates starting at the end of September, where I'll be taking some of the parlor confessionals online. And what the confessionals are is really a group of women, and we talk real shit. We talk real stuff.
Mm.
We talk about sexuality, sensuality, what it means to be a queen, what it means to put all the color, to play with a full palette, play big, play full on in your life. And those are the sort of things that we explore we do it every 2 weeks. So stay tuned, DM me, I am GoddessME on Instagram, and I'll let you know when the next one is, and you can join by Zoom.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Penny.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Yes, and the same to you. Colorful blessings.